Hey friend, pull up a chair because we need to talk about something real, something raw, something that cuts deep in the heart of being human. One of the absolute toughest, most soul crushing, gut wrenching things you can ever face in love, in relationships, in life itself, is breaking up with someone you still feel so much for, someone who still lives in your thoughts, your dreams, your quiet moments. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you're the one getting rejected, getting left behind by someone you still adore, someone you still believe in, someone you still see a future with. And let's be honest, it's brutally hard to move on then. Your heart feels heavy, your mind feels foggy, your days feel longer. And if, on top of all that pain, the other person seems to bounce back faster, seems to find joy again while you're still picking up the pieces, well then, oh wow, that adds a whole new layer of hurt. That stings like salt rubbed right into a fresh, open wound. It feels unfair, it feels lonely, it feels like you're carrying a weight no one else can see. So here's a question, a big, important, aching question I hear all the time from so many hearts. How do I forget someone I love? How do I make them vanish from my mind, my heart, my life? Well, hold on a second. Let's pause right there. I don't actually think forgetting someone you truly loved is the right goal. Not at all. Because if you completely forget someone you once cared about, that might not be healing. That might be your brain playing tricks, like a sign of something deeper, like Alzheimer's quietly knocking at the door. But moving on from them, that's different. Detaching so you can stand alone and feel whole, so you can be single and genuinely happy, or so you can one day open your heart to a new person who can light you up just as bright, or maybe even brighter, in ways you haven't even imagined yet. That, my friend, that can be a beautiful, powerful, life-changing thing. That's the real win. Now, if we're being real, if you're trying to forget someone you still love, usually because of a painful breakup, chances are you've done something very human. You've put that person on a huge, glittery, oversized pedestal. You've made them larger than life, too important, too central. But think about this for a second. A person who chooses to break up with you, by the very act of leaving, they have disqualified themselves from being your person. Otherwise, the breakup simply wouldn't have happened. They made a choice, and that choice matters. But here's the tricky part. Even though they left, they still feel huge to you. They still feel important. And that's because your ego, right in that raw, vulnerable moment, thinks it's the expert, thinks it knows what's right for you, thinks it knows what's best for your heart. Yeah, I'm supposed to be with that person, obviously. We had something special, we had a beautiful connection, we had a beautiful future ahead of us, painted in gold, filled with nothing but great things, sunny days, shared laughter, growing old together. Yeah, not really, or at least not necessarily. Life is messy, people are complicated. And so that right there, that belief, that story you're telling yourself, that's the first big mistake after a breakup. But oh boy, friend, there are many more slips, many more traps, many more mind games waiting if we're not careful. So let's talk about it. Let's walk through this together. My name is H. I'm an author. I write words that hope to help, to heal, to spark a little light. I also use the pen name Brian Knox because, let's be real, that's a lot easier to remember, a lot easier to say, a lot easier to find when you're searching for a little guidance. And the very first, most powerful, most essential way to move on, to truly let go of someone, is simply deciding that that is what you want, that you choose peace, that you choose freedom, that you choose you. And yeah, I know that may sound oversimplified, it may sound too easy, but hear me out. As long as you hold on to hope that you can get back together with an ex, as long as you're secretly or not so secretly trying little strategies, little plans, little hopes to win them back, you will never, ever be able to truly let go. You'll be stuck in limbo, you'll be waiting, and waiting is not living. Getting closure, that sweet, peaceful feeling of completion, doesn't come from an ex. It doesn't come from a conversation, an apology, a text, a grand gesture. It comes from within. It comes from us, from you, making the quiet, powerful decision to turn the page, to close the chapter, to write a new story. It's like watching a ship sail off into the distance. You stand on the shore, you watch it go. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller on the horizon, a tiny speck, until finally it's gone, disappeared, free. But if you cannot, let go. If your heart is still holding on, you're continuously, unconsciously dragging that ship back to the shore. You're pulling it with invisible ropes made of hope, of memory, of fear. It cannot ever disappear. It remains big. It remains present. It remains right there in your face. And because we keep pulling it back, Because we keep feeding it our attention, our energy, our tears. We don't allow it to sail away. We don't allow ourselves to heal. So if you want to forget someone you love, if you want to find peace after pain, the very first step, the non-negotiable step, is to make the decision to let go, to choose yourself, to choose forward. So how do you actually do that then? How do you turn that decision into reality? Well, first of all, when someone breaks up with you, when they walk away, they will usually become more important in your mind than they ever were before. Isn't that wild? Isn't that frustrating? That's a mind game. That's your heart playing tricks. But also, you will notice something else. You will notice that what you miss the most, what will hurt the most, what will ache in your chest at 3 in the morning is the realization that those great moments from the past, those laughs, those hugs, those quiet comforts will now never happen again. Not with them, not in that way. So your mind gets stuck in the past. It replays the highlights. It zooms in on the good stuff. But that's not all. Oh no. Our mind will also get stuck in the future after a breakup. And there's something strange, something sneaky going on then. The thing we miss, the thing we love, the thing we crave is usually not the actual, real, flawed human person that broke up with us. No, it's the fantasies we built around them, the daydreams, the hopes, the things we whispered to ourselves would one day happen. The wedding, the home, the family, the adventures. And because of the breakup, because of that hard, final choice they made, it's now pretty clear, pretty painful that those dreams won't come true. Not with them. But here's the truth. They were fantasies. Beautiful, hopeful, human fantasies. But fantasies nonetheless. We're often more in love with the perfect, polished movie trailer image we have of someone than with the actual, messy, complicated, real person they are in reality. Because we conveniently forget. We forget about all of their flaws. We forget about all the ways they made us unhappy. We forget about the arguments, the silences, the moments we felt small. We forget that they would likely continue to do those things. So yes, some of the great golden moments you had together will never happen again. That's true. That hurts. But here's the flip side, the bright side, the side we often ignore. All those bad ones won't happen again either. The hurtful words, the disappointment, the loneliness you felt even when they were right there. And given that there was a rejection or a breakup, I'm actually pretty sure, pretty confident, that there were many bad moments leading up to it. Moments where you were not happy at all. Moments where you didn't feel loved, seen, valued. Moments where you questioned, where you doubted, where you cried. And the good news, the really good news, is this. Even though every breakup or rejection hurts a lot, stings a lot, feels like the end of the world right now, you will feel better again, I promise. As time passes, as days turn to weeks, weeks to months, the ache will soften, the fog will lift. And again, you don't need your ex or another person to make that happen. Please, please let that sink in. Let it settle deep in your bones. Thinking that someone else, like an ex, can fix the pain, can heal the wound, can make it all better, that's a mind game. That's a mistake. That's handing your power away. Also, and this is important, you don't have to stop loving someone. Love is not a switch you can just flip off. You don't have to erase the care, the history, the connection. What you do have to do is stop missing that person. Stop chasing the ghost. Stop feeding the fantasy. You have to detach from the perfect, polished, impossible image you have painted of that person. Your mind, in its hopeful, hurting way, has sketched a picture of how the future could be with that person. A perfect future, a flawless story. But reality, that tough, honest teacher, has just proven that that picture was wrong. Again. Otherwise, there would not have been a breakup. Otherwise, they would still be here. Now here's a powerful truth to hold close. What we resist in life persists. What we fight sticks around. What we push away pushes back. And usually after a breakup, when it feels like you really desperately, urgently want to get back together with your ex, what you really want is probably something different, something deeper. What you probably want, what your heart is actually crying out for, is for that awful feeling of loss, of missing them, of heartbreak, of emptiness, to just go away, that heavy, crushing, can't breathe feeling. And our mind, in its simple, solution-seeking way, thinks, well, it's easy, it's obvious. If I get back together with my ex, if I win them back, if I fix what's broken, then evidently, obviously, that awful feeling will go away. Am I right? So it's not really about the person. It's about the feeling. It's about feeling good again, feeling whole again, feeling safe again. And guess what, friend? Good news. You don't need your ex for that. You can find that peace within. But here's the thing, the tricky human thing. The more we want that feeling to go away, the more we resist it, the more we fight it, the bigger it will get, the louder it will scream, and also the sillier, the more desperate, the more regrettable the things we will do. Like texting an ex when we absolutely, positively shouldn't. Or worse, writing them a long, emotional, late-night email. And if that email was drafted after a couple of glasses of alcohol, oh boy, it will probably contain words, confessions, pleas we really, really shouldn't have sent. Words we can't take back. The key, and this is so important, this is the golden key. The key to making a negative emotion, like missing someone, like grieving a loss, like sitting with heartbreak, go away, is to stop trying to make it go away. Because when we fight it, when we resist it, when we label it as bad and try to shove it down, we are feeding it. We are giving it power. The more we resist a negative feeling, the more it persists, the more it grows. But the more we allow it, the more we sit with it, the more we say, okay, this is a painful breakup. I miss my ex. This hurts a lot. And that's okay. I allow that feeling. I let it be. I don't have to fix it right now. The more we do that, the more we breathe through it, the easier that ship can sail away into the distance. The more space we create for healing, the more room we make for peace. Here's another insight, another gem to hold close. After a breakup that we did not initiate ourselves, that was done to us, chances are we want to get back together with our ex because we think we know what's best for us. We think we see the big picture. We think we understand the path. Well, in cases like these, in moments of raw emotion, of heartache, of loss, we really have no idea. We are not the experts on our own future, and there's a nice parable, a lovely old story, a wise tale to illustrate this beautiful truth. Once upon a time, there was a simple farmer. He lived a quiet life. He had a horse, a strong, loyal horse, to help him grow vegetables in his field, to till the soil, to carry the load. Now, one morning, he wakes up, stretches, steps outside, and he sees it. His horse is gone, broke free, ran away, left him. So his neighbor, always quick to judge, always quick to label, comes over and says, "Wow, that is terrible news. That is so unlucky. That is bad, bad news." But the farmer, calm, wise, centered, simply says, "Good news, bad news, I don't know. Who can say?" A couple of days later, something amazing happens. His horse is back, and not just back. It brought a whole herd of wild, beautiful, strong horses with it. So the neighbor, eyes wide, says, "Wow, you're so lucky. That is incredible news. That is great, great news." The farmer, still calm, still wise, replies, "Good news, bad news, I don't know. Who can say?" So the farmer's son, excited, brave, tries to tame the wild horses. He climbs on one. He tries to guide it, but sadly, unpredictably, his son falls off one of the horses and breaks his leg. Pain, tears, frustration. So the neighbor, shaking his head, says, "Woo, that is bad news. That is so unlucky. That is terrible." The farmer, gentle, patient, says, "Who knows? Good news, bad news, I don't know." A while later, life shifts again. A huge war starts. Conflict, danger, fear, all young men in the village are ordered to join the army. They have to go. They have to fight. And many, so many, do not come back. But our farmer's son, with his broken leg still healing, cannot join the army. He stays home. He stays safe. He stays alive. So the neighbor, amazed, says, "Whoa, that is great news. You're so lucky. I mean, come on, how did you know?" The farmer, ever wise, ever humble, says, "Good news, bad news, who knows?" The moral of the story, the deep, beautiful, freeing moral is this. We don't know what's truly good for us. We don't see the full picture. We don't hold the map. Even things like a breakup, like a rejection, like a loss, that feel very bad, that hurt so much right now, can, in the end, with time, with perspective, with grace, turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to us. The thing that redirected us, the thing that taught us, the thing that opened a door we couldn't see. Who knows? So you don't have to forget someone you love. You don't have to erase the past. You don't have to pretend it didn't matter. You just have to decide to let them go, to make peace with what was, to not try to control or change what cannot be controlled, to relax as much as you can in the midst of the storm, to breathe, to trust, to just go along for the ride, one step, one breath, one day at a time. Now, if you recently went through a breakup yourself, if your heart is tender, if your mind is tired, I hope that this talk, this message, this little moment of connection made you feel at least a little bit better, a little bit lighter, a little bit more hopeful. I have more videos, more words, more thoughts on this topic, on healing, on love, on life, on brianox.com. Come visit, stay a while. And if you want to read any of my books, if you want to dive deeper into these ideas, you can find those on Amazon, the big online bookstore, by simply typing my pen name, Brian Knox, in the search box. Easy, simple, accessible. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this video, for listening to these words, for staying with me until the very end. I always, always love it when you do that. It means the world. Truly. Remember, healing isn't a race. It's a journey. Some days will feel lighter. Some days will feel heavy. Both are okay. Both are part of the process. Be gentle with your heart. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate tiny wins. A morning without tears. A laugh that feels real. A moment of peace. These matter. You matter. And as you walk this path, know that you're not alone. So many have walked it before. So many walk it now. And on the other side of this pain, on the other side of this letting go, there is a version of you waiting, a stronger you, a wiser you, a freer you. One who loves deeply but doesn't lose themselves. One who remembers fondly but doesn't cling. One who is open to new love, not because they need it to be whole, but because they choose to share their wholeness. That version of you is real, and they're worth the wait, worth the work, worth the tears. So keep going, one breath, one step, one choice at a time. You've got this, and I'm cheering for you, always.